The Badger and the Bear, as told by Charles Eastman. The badger lived in a little house under the hill, and it was warm and snug. Here, too, lived Mother Badger and the little badgers, and they were fat and merry, for the gray old badger was a famous hunter. Folk said he must have a magic art in making arrows, since he never failed to bring in meat enough and to spare. One day, Father Badger stayed at home to make new arrows. His wife was busy slicing and drying the meat left over from the hunt of the day before, while the little ones played at hide-and-go-seek about the lodge. All at once, a big, clumsy shape darkened the low doorway. All the children hid their faces in fear, but Father Badger got up and welcomed the stranger kindly. He was a large black bear. His shaggy skin hung loosely, and his little red eyes turned hungrily on the strips of good meat hung up to dry. "Ho! Be seated, friend," said the old badger. He lighted and passed the long pipe, while his wife at once broiled a thick slice of savory venison over the coals and offered it to their guest in a wooden basin. The bear ate like a starving man, and soon after he had eaten, he shuffled away. Next day, the bear came again, and on the day after, and for many days. At each visit, he was invited to eat according to the custom, and feasted well by the badger, skillful hunter, and generous host. After many days, the bear came one morning looking fat and sleek. He had brought with him his whole family. Growling savagely, he rudely turned the badger family out of their comfortable lodge, well stored with good food and soft robes. Even the magic arrows of Father Badger were left behind. Crying bitterly, the homeless badgers went off into the woods to seek another place of shelter. That night they slept cold under a great rock, and the children went supperless to bed, for the badger could not hunt without his arrows. All the next day, and for several days after, he wandered through the forest looking for game, but found none. One night, the children were so hungry and cried so hard that the poor old father at last said, "Well then, I must beg for you." So he crept back to his old home where the bear family now lived and grew fat. Standing in the doorway, he begged quite humbly for a small piece of meat. I would not trouble you," he said, "but my little folks are starving." However, the bear got up and turned him angrily out of the doors, while the ill-natured little bears chuckled and laughed to see how thin and hungry he looked. All laughed but one, and that one was the smallest and ugliest of the cubs, who had always been teased and abused by the others. He was sorry for the poor badger, and when no one was looking, he slyly stole a piece of his mother's meat and threw it into their hut, and then ran home again. This happened several times, and now the family of badgers were only kept from starving by the gifts of the kind-hearted little bear. At last came the avenger, who sprang from a drop of innocent blood. He was very tall, strong, and beautiful, and is feared by all wrongdoers. The bear saw him coming and began to tremble. He at once called to the badger, who was not far off, and invited him to come out and eat. But the avenger came first. Then the bear called upon his wife and children to follow him, and took to his heels. He ran as fast as he could, looking over his shoulder from time to time, for he was really terribly frightened. He never came back any more, and the badger family returned and joyfully possessed their old home. There is no meanness like ingratitude.